guys, welcome back to another episode of the Blue Mountain Makes podcast. I'm Mary Lynn. I'm coming to you from the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, where I live with my husband, my 3 dogs, and a bunch of chickens. You'll definitely hear the dogs. So my husband is at work now. We're finally on our different schedule. If you watched my last podcast, I wanted to do an off week so I could only podcast while he's not in the house, because I think it's just I feel free. But because he's not here, all of the dogs stay in the room with me, which is great because they're very cute and sweet, but you will hear snoring. You will probably hear tippy taps of toes when they get bored and they walk away. So just heads up, I would show you them, but I've kind of boxed myself into this corner. Like if you could see the mess that I've got going on here. Yeah, so apologies in advance if you hear anything. I'm also a little scratchy today, so sorry for that. I do have some water in my May the Horse Be With You glass from a brewery. My husband went to a drift event yesterday, and he's gone to a couple at this point, and I was trying to be really supportive, I went and decided I would knit with him while he did his drone stuff, and it was so hot. I was literally afraid I was gonna felt my yarn just in my hands working with it. Between that, the horrific amounts of smoke, I'll try to put a picture in that I took towards the end, and the rubber that I was covered in rubber. I'm still picking it out of my hair, which is partially why it looks so fantastic today. It was just all over. It was like little rubber flecks, so you're sweaty, so then it's sticking to you, and I'm sure it was up in my nose. And anyways, got no knitting done. Inhaled a lot of smoke. Sound like crap today, so sorry. But let's talk about some knitting, because it's been a couple weeks, and I'm sad to say I only have one finished object, and I kind of got a case of castonitis badly, and I don't know why, but I think I have like 5 WIPS maybe. I haven't counted, I'll be honest. And then I also went nuts and bought a lot of yarn, so welcome. First thing is my finished object. It is the Camisole number 6 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and I hate it. It's not the pattern. Let me just start off by saying the pattern is not bad. I don't think I love doing this. It's a 6x6 rib. The ribbing depends on what size you make. This is a 3, I think, a medium 3. And I made it with some acrylic, 100% acrylic yarn that was like a lace weight or a fingering weight that I held double, that I found in my stash from probably 10 years ago. The yarn is awful. This is after blocking. It did not bloom. It did not change shape. It is super tight. Like, you're supposed to have a little bit of negative ease in the pattern, I think. Like, I hate it. I hate this. I hate this, and it's a shame. I'm not gonna wear it. I'm hoping I can find someone who will wear it, because it is really, I mean, it's pretty. The whole reason I made it was so that I could have something that would, kind of cover my bra straps, because you have a pretty decent top, but even that curls, because it just, with blocking did nothing with this yarn. It just, yeah, I'm very disappointed. And I kind of knew this going in, because I was not enjoying knitting it. I was not enjoying how the yarn felt. It felt hot even like while I was making it. So it's like, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Let's make a summer garment out of the hottest yarn possible. Yeah, I don't like it. And what's worse is, like, I could have gone longer. So this hits me about, it almost hits my hip bones. I usually wear my tops a little bit longer if I can get away with it. And I had plenty of yarn left, and I was done. I cut it. I threw it away yesterday. I was thinking, like, I had, I don't know, maybe 25 or 30 grams left between the 2 skeins. I just can't think of anything that I would want to make out of this. It's in the trash. So that's a big old bummer. But this pattern has had a lot of good reception online. I don't know that I'll be making another one. I think if I did make another one, I would probably try to figure out a way that I can change it so it's not such chunky ribbing. It's not fun to knit for me. I don't mind purling, but I felt like it was so slow, because if I have like a 1x1 or a 2x2 or like a broken rib pattern, I feel like as a continental knitter, I feel like I can purl a little bit faster if I don't have a bunch of purls in a row. Yeah. This was a slog. It was one of those things where I was forcing myself to finish it because it just needed to be finished. And it didn't come out well. So what a bummer. You put it on and my husband was like, that's tight. And I was like, yeah, it is. Because it didn't. Yeah. All right. So that's that. That's my camisole number 6. I haven't even posted this online. I don't even think I put it in my Ravelry queue that I was even working on it. My favorite thing's Knitwear does not sell patterns through Ravelry, so I sometimes forget to go back and add it, because it's not sitting in my library for me to look at it, you know what I mean? I didn't even add it. I've done nothing with this. I was in a knit along, is actually why I bought this pattern. I think it's, I can't remember who it's hosted by. She definitely has wool in her name. Wool of Things. I'll check and put it on the screen. But yep, I haven't posted it on there. I just, yeah. So that's enough about that. Sad though it may be. Don't recommend the yarn. Frankly, I don't think you can even buy it anymore. I threw the tag away. I have no idea what it was called. It was Loops and Threads brand from Michaels. Like I said, from 100,000 years ago. So I doubt you can get it anyways, but if you could, I would say don't. So that's that. Such as it is. It's such a nice color too. It's kind of a shame. And it is really soft. That's the other thing. It was, I guess, why I held on to it for so long. It's just really, really soft. I tried making a scarf out of it at one point, or like an infinity cowl. Ripped that out. Tried making a hat out of it. Ripped that out. I should have just known. If you've ripped it out a bunch of times, you obviously don't like it. Don't use it. Okay. So that's a sad story. That's my only finished object. That's the sadder story. Because I forced myself to finish it, and then I was so bummed out about it, I think I just kind of, I don't want to say I lost my knitting mojo, but I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I guess I just went nuts for all of the things. I felt like this project was holding me back from making what I wanted to make and what I knew or hope I'll get a better result out of. So as soon as it was done, I was just I'm casting this and this and this and this. And so a lot of WIPS. Take a sip of water. So my first WIP showed in the last podcast. This is the Lunae Shawl by Natasja Hornby. I think I kept saying Hornsby. There's no S in that last name. She has a different Instagram handle that I cannot think of off the top of my head. Moonstruck Knits. That's what it is. But I've made quite a bit of progress on this. Doesn't look like much, but yeah, it's coming out, I think, very pretty. So you knit this top section. You start at one corner with just the main color, and then you work all the way up to this middle panel, and it increases, and then you work the decreasing triangle down the other side. Shouldn't be very difficult, but for some reason, Mary Lynn really struggled with this. Again, I don't know what it is with me and color work. This is mosaics. It's not like it's hard, but I got here. Yeah, I got to the middle. And I started to work my decreases, and it said I should have 10 more stitches than what I had on my needles. And so I was like, wait, how did I mess that up? So I've ripped this back 3 times. And I am now at the point where I'm like, it is what it is, and we're just gonna go with it. The row count is right, so the length is correct, hopefully. I haven't really measured it. It's also hard to show, I just got a longer cord, so at least it's not all bunched up, but, and I did buy barber cords yesterday, so maybe I should have used that, but anyway, the length is really what matters. The 10 stitch difference would have made this taller, I guess, longer this direction, and I'm okay with it. Would it have been nice? Maybe, but my friend has asked me to make one for her sister, his sister for her birthday. So I will try this again. And I think probably what ended up happening is you're supposed to increase every star stitch row on the right side to get that stitch count, and you just don't do increases with your mosaic. And it must be that I just either wasn't paying attention, or I don't know, because I can't really see where anything looks funky. But it must be somewhere in there that I missed 10 increases on my increase side. But all things considered, she's gorgeous. I'm loving these colors together. So I'm working on, you've got like another band of just plain here. I think I have another 5 rows, maybe 6 rows of the plain orange, and then it's a big mosaic border along the bottom, and then tassels, which I think I'm gonna leave the tassels off at first and then decide if I want to add them. I feel certain I'm gonna want to add them. It's like 42 of them, and I've not made tassels before because I think that it looks very time consuming and fiddly. So the other question is, will I have enough yarn? Because I think it's gonna end up being this color. And I think I have another, at least 1 or 2 more balls. So I'm sure I have plenty, but we'll see. So this should be done by the next time we talk. This is really my main project at this point. And the other thing too is, like, I wondered if this, because it was kind of TV knitting, but kind of not. This is the star stitch to give this really nice texture, which isn't hard, but I wonder if I missed all those increases because I wasn't like actively paying attention, or I was tired or something. So I'm trying to make this my morning knitting, or my just got home and my brain's still working after work. This is not late night knitting. But yeah, that's my Lunae shawl. I'm very excited about it. I think it's gonna be gorgeous. I think it's gonna suit me very well. I was kind of worried this would be too Halloween-y color because, you know, I ordered orange, black, and white, but I think it looks great. I am very pleased. So that's WIP number 1. WIP number 2. I had a doctor's appointment this week, and some other, I don't even remember, something else. I had to be in the car. Oh, I was picking up groceries, so I was in the car. So I just started a little sock. Very little progress on this. Mainly, I just wanted something easily portable, you know, mindless knitting. I just did a little ribbed cuff at the top, and then the rest of it's just going to be straight stockinette because this is self-striping yarn, or self-patterning yarn, I should say. Another stash buster. I think it's probably patent sock yarn. It did not have a tag with it. I can't tell you how long I've had this, but it's pretty and it feels very woolly. I don't know. I'm going to assume that's what it is, and I'm just going to make socks out of it, and if they don't hold up, they don't hold up. But I do like the little, like, dotted pattern that it's coming out with. I think it's really cute, and these colors are fun. So I am using Hiya Flyers. This is my first real project with these. I tried one other sock and I ended up giving up on it, but I'm trying to make myself step out of my comfort zone and also use the things that I bought. So these are size US 1s, and they are sharp, sharp, sharp. I don't know if you can see that, but it was at my local knitting store yesterday, and I was talking to one of the ladies and I showed her these. I was like, yeah, they're not kidding. I keep poking like my cuticles and stuff with them while I'm knitting. So I'm trying to be a little bit more careful, but I do like that it's not as, I mean, technically it's just double pointed, but you only ever have 2 needles going at a time, you know, like you don't have the 4, the 3 or the 4 that you're trying to fuss with plus your working needle. So I really like it so far. Now that I've actually sat with it, I do have some laddering, but I think I always had that with my double pointeds anyways. I just need to pay attention. Yeah, because I don't have it on the other side. Don't know what I'm doing, but yeah. So these are just gonna be vanilla socks, very plain, boring. I'll probably do, a lot of people are really good about counting their rows, and I probably should be better about that so my socks actually match. I'm gonna commit to that. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna count my rows so that my socks match. I'm gonna use my light bulb markers. But I'm thinking it's gonna be like mid-calf length. This is gonna go a long way, so I'm just gonna keep knitting. And I'd like to do an afterthought heel because I've not ever done that, so I have not put the time into looking into that. As far as like, I know some people cut the yarn, but I don't really want to do that. I'm not that brave yet. I would like to put stitches on hold and then just pull them back out, but we'll see. So I'll look into that. But this is, you know, nothing terribly exciting, but kind of, I like these colors. I'm digging it. I'm here for it. I wasn't sure about it in the ball, but I like it. So that is WIP number 2. Counting because I really don't know how many I have. It's just yarn everywhere over here. Okay, so in this bag, I made a bag. I bought a sewing machine because I got bored while my husband was away. So my first ever by myself project. You can tell it's my first ever one because I completely missed the stitch when I folded it inside out. The whole top like fell apart and I had to stitch it, but whatever, man, it's for me. This is just like leftover chunky yarn I had. There's a free pattern on YouTube if anybody's interested. I will link that below. I think the name of the channel was like Easy to Sew. She has a ton of bags and stuff on there, and she like writes everything out and tells you the sizes, and I just paused on my iPad and follow the step and go back, like literally first ever project. And in fact, it's so bad. It's not bad, but I'm so new to this. This was supposed to be 2 inches wider, but I suck and I can't measure. And my first cut I made was way too short, and the second one I made actually fit, but you can't do that. So I just trimmed it all down, and now it's a 12-inch bag instead of a 14. You can fit surprisingly quite a bit in there, but it's housing my half and half triangle shawl / wrap. This is one of those things, like, I've seen other people make them and I wasn't sure that I would actually use it, and I was watching Knitting Traditions, and hers is really pretty. She did like a green and a like grayish color, and she said that she uses hers all the time. She just wraps up it when she's in the car, she's in the house, she's going out to, you know, do things around the house, and I decided I want one too. So here we are on the bandwagon. I am using this color. This is Drops Alpaca, which this is my first time purchasing drops and my first time using drops yarn, and I like it a lot. It's very soft. It's very soft. It's very drapey. I mean, it's alpaca, but it's so affordable. Like, I know that drops is very popular with everybody, but I kind of in the back of my head thought like it was gonna be not such great quality because it's so cheap, and I like it a lot, like a lot. So this is, ooh, I actually have the ball right here. What color are you? 9029. That tells me nothing. 9029. And that's just so cute. Yeah, they had a sale I bought from Wool Warehouse, which I'll show you the rest of what I bought at the end. But I bought a lot of yarn because I kind of figured, well, I had a gift card for my work, so I was trying to spend that, and then for whatever reason it wouldn't let me finish the purchase, so I ended up just using my regular card, and it's a lot of yarn. It ended up being 77 pounds, which came out to like 110 or 120 US dollars, I think. And I got a huge bag of yarn. I got enough yarn to do like 4 or 5 projects. So I also kind of in the back of my head was like, maybe I shouldn't have ordered so much in case I hate this, but luckily love it. So we're good. I really wanted this alpaca because I do like alpaca quite a bit. And I know, you know, it's not great for sweaters because it doesn't hold shape very well, but I'm doing a lot of shawls. Apparently that's just my thing. So that having been said, using mustardy yellow 9029 for my first half, and I'm using size 4 needles. I think it calls for a 3 maybe in the pattern, but I think that this is kind of like a choose your own adventure in my opinion. It's very simple. It's just garter. It's a free pattern by Purl Soho. And you literally just cast on. It's covered in pieces of my bag. You just cast on, the amount of stitches that the pattern calls for. There's a big and a bigger. And I kind of went for an in-between size. I think I did, God, I can't remember. I cannot remember. I want to say it's like 120. That doesn't sound right though. Either way, it's not short for sure. Yeah, you just get to the end of each row and it calls for wrap and turns to make the triangle shape, but I don't like wrap and turns. I prefer German short rows. So I'm just doing German short rows and you just follow with your little stitch marker and you go all the way across. So it's a lot of knitting. This is such a good, like, I'm tired, I don't want to think, I just want something to do with my hands, or, you know, I'm going somewhere where I'm going to be talking and not paying attention. This is a perfect project for that. So I'm very pleased with it so far and it feels great. And I do want to just be snuggled up in it. And I can't wait. The other color I'm using in my big bag of goodies, this color. So originally I wanted to do the green in this color, like a foresty green, like Knitting Traditions did, but they were out of stock. So I'm going for these two. I think that this tones this down a little bit, which I like. I think it's gonna be nice. We'll see. If not, I'll pick a different color. Yeah. So that is my half and half triangles wrap. This is gonna be, I probably won't show much of this on here because I think it's gonna be a very long-term kind of project because it is a lot of just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So probably what I'll plan to do, I will stick a progress keeper on here, and then once I actually have like some decent progress, I'll show you guys again, or I might just wait until I have like the whole triangle done of the one color to kind of check in on it, but we'll see. I'm enjoying it so far. It's like I said, it's mindless, it's fun, great beginner project. And like for somebody that's nervous about short rows, this forces you to not be nervous anymore. So it's really not bad. Short rows are not bad, people. You can do it. So covered in fiber in my own hair now. That is project 3. Next. Only 2 more. So only 5 whips. Only 5 whips. My rule's usually 3. So clearly I have a problem. Like, look at this. I tried to take this yesterday. I don't know if you can see. It's covered in rubber. Yeah, that's what I tried to take to the track yesterday. That was dumb. Should have known better. But clearly, I put everything back in the car after I figured out that it was going to get ruined by rubber. So this is my Tanja. Pretty sure it's pronounced Tanja, and I said Tegna last time because I'm American. This is by Boylan Knitworks, Caitlin Hunter. It is a bottom-up short sleeve tee. I guess you call it a t-shirt. And it is really, really, really nice. I love it. It's going so well. So this is Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino. And I think it's called Deep Sea or Deep Sea Green. Very pretty. Stitch definition is fabulous. It's all wrinkly because it's been in my bag. I'm also going to drop stitches. Don't do that. Anyways, yes, stitch definition looks great. I think it's done really well on this lace pattern at the bottom. It's going to block out really nice too, I think. Ta-da. So you're supposed to have like inset shoulders, inset shoulders. So you get to the top, you split for the arms, and I think you work the front and back flat. And then join your seam for your shoulders, I think. I still have quite a ways to go. I think this is supposed to be like 14 or 15 inches. But really just depends on how long you want her pattern says that it's supposed to be a little bit cropped, but I don't think I'm going to crop it. I really like this. I love this color. I think it's going to look good on me. I can wear this to work. It is a little bit see-through, so probably like tank top underneath of it, but It's going to be really pretty when it's done, and it's going to be very breathable, which is nice because my work is like an oven all the time. My office mate is in her 70s, so she is cold all the time. But yes, this has gone very well. It's a well-written pattern. I really enjoy it. This is my first Caitlin Hunter pattern. I have purchased a lot of them. The Soldotna crop is next on my list, but I am happy to say that her patterns are very clear, easy to read. This lace is great. This is supposed to be inspired by her trip to Italy, I think. So I'm assuming Tegna is an Italian city, but I'm not sure. And I think she said that the lace is supposed to be like architectural inspiration while she was over there, which I love. So cute. And it kind of gives it like the scalloped edge. I don't know if you can see. I'm flopping it around. And that might block out, but might not. Right, but yeah, right now it kind of has a little bit of a scallopy thing going, which I love too. Very easy lace work. I mean, I have a couple mistakes that I know about in there, but you really can't tell. So yeah, I'm very pleased with this. It's finally at that point where it's just like mindless knitting in the round, so this should be done fairly quickly. The only thing I'm thinking about, Knitting Traditions, I watch a lot of her. Obviously, she said that she did not like the sleeve, the type of sleeve it is, because it's not necessarily flattering on everybody. And I was also watching Amy Palco, and she said that when she did her sleeves, it calls for decreases, which I did see in the pattern, but she said that it made it like too tight, not necessarily uncomfortably tight, but it's such a flowy garment that it kind of doesn't really make sense to me to have fitted, half length sleeves. So I was on Ravelry and I was kind of scrolling through people's projects, and I saw somebody that just left the sleeves off completely. And because the way that this person's shoulders were done, they were like wide enough on her body that when she put her arms down, it created almost like a little false cap sleeve. So I think I'm going to try that, because you do bind off the shoulders or the armholes as you go. Like, you don't put anything on hold. So there's really nothing stopping me from trying it on, seeing if I like it, and just being done there. So I think that's the goal. I only have 2 more balls of this, which I'm a little worried about, which also might affect that decision, because I still have quite a bit to go. But I really like it so far. This is very, very pleasing. And the rest of it, like I said, is just stocking it and then working flat up at the top. A little bit of shoulder shaping and back shaping, but not much. So also hope to have this done very soon. It's very hot here. Again, as you can, I'm sure, tell by my fuzzy hair. The really sad part is I put like anti-frizz serum on it too, and it's still just... So even in the air conditioning, it's so humid and hot here. I really want something that's very flowy and cottony and drapey and nice, and so I don't have to sit and sweat and be gross, because I've not been able to wear my knits, and that's really sad. So that is WIP 4. What size am I making this? This is the 3rd size. I almost always make a medium, so if I don't say it, just assume it's a medium. I'm really sorry. I need to work on that. And I'm making on my ChowGoo 3s, which this is why I did not make my half and half wrap on 3s, because I only own 1 set of 3s. I did my other one on my knit, dropped a stitch, look at there. Did my half and half wrap on my Knit Pick set, which I don't use very often. Once I went ChowGoo, that was kind of it. I've bought more cables for my ChowGoos. I've bought more needle tips for my ChowGoos. I've bought more non-interchangeable cords. The word's escaping me. I'm just a ChowGoo girl, man. That's where we're at. So that's WIP number 4. And my last WIP, there's not much to show you on it, and I'm not really sure why I started it. That's a lie. I know why I started it. The yarn came in and I was like, ooh. So I've been wanting to make a Cinnabar shawl forever. And I went to a vineyard a couple of months ago at this point with some girlfriends and our husbands. And this lady, I mean, I saw it from across the vineyard. And she had it kind of draped over the back of her chair because it was still in the spring. It was getting cool at night. I had my Stephen West shawl, and she stopped me on the way in, and so we chatted about knitting a little bit. But when she sat down and she got her Cinnabar out, I mean, I eyeballed that thing and had to go interrupt her and her poor husband. I was like, is that a Cinnabar by Andrea Mowry? And she's like, yes. So we were talking about that, and it was beautiful. She did use, it calls for spin cycle yarns, and I am cheap. I hate to say that. I spend a lot on yarn that I probably shouldn't. But what I ended up going with, this shawl is going to cost me about 30 to 35 bucks. And with the spin cycle, that is like the kits, they're $200 to $220. I would never wear the shawl because I think I would be so worried about messing it up, because that it would be so precious, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to make something that I'm not going to be able to enjoy. Like, this Stephen West was, I think I bought $50 worth of yarn for this, and it's 5 or 6 colors. And even at the end of that, I had a ton left over that I've used for other projects. So in reality, this is another $30 shawl, and I wear the heck out of it because I know I don't want to make another one because that was a pain in the butt. But I know that I can, and it's not going to break the bank. So yeah, that's my thought process on super expensive yarn, but it's so gorgeous. I love spin cycle. I'm hoping to start spinning this fall. Sam and I are going to go to Rhinebeck, and I'm hoping that I can get myself a secondhand wheel, like at auction or something, because the wheel we bought does not work. Little did I know it was only ornamental, and he tried to like 3D print stuff to fix it, and it was like a whole thing. So now I just have a wheel sitting in my basement that's unusable. But if I can't get myself a secondhand one, I'm just going to go ahead and bite the bullet and buy a new one. I really want to spin. I think I will really enjoy it. So I'll spin my own spin cycle yarn. Long story short. So what I ended up going with for my Cinnabar shawl. Dun, dun, dun. God, it's a mess. I had to rip out. I had barely anything on this. I had to rip out yesterday because I read the pattern wrong somehow. I went with Wool of the Andes. This is Wool of the Andes Sport Weight, I think. Yep, Wool of the Andes Sport Weight. I ordered it from We Crochet, just like I always say. We Crochet and Knit Picks are the same company, and there's a cheaper shipping threshold on We Crochet. I think it's $35 for free shipping. That's easy to make, right? We can all do that. But yeah, Wool of the Andes Sport Weight. The color is Ripped Off. Good job. No idea what color this is. Dove Heather. My bad. Dove Heather. So it's got a little bit of, you know, color change in there. But I mean, very, very subtle. So in the pattern, Andrea Mowry said, either in the pattern or on her YouTube, she said that she used a slightly variegated solid for her border, just to give it a little bit of extra oomph. This is as close as I could reasonably get. And then my contrast color is Chroma. I've used this before. I used this, so this is the Chroma fingering weight, and I used the worsted version of this on my main squeeze shawl that I think I finished in the last podcast. So I have used this before. It is the Wool of the Andes is 100% wool. This is 70% wool, I think. Maybe. Yes, 70% superwash, 30% nylon. And it is machine washable. Did not know that. But obviously can't with the Wool of the Andes. Not that I would anyways, but the color is Dragon Lily, and this is a 100 gram ball, and it's got 396 yards in it. So I only bought 2 of these, I think. Don't know, but I really like it. It's going to be like this kind of raspberry into almost a purple, and then you've got that black, and it's just going to keep striping itself. So the 2 of those together are a very strong contrast, I think. And like I said, I had to rip it out, so I don't have very much progress, but woo, there we are. Got my little bat / Mothman that I made. Poor guy, he's really ugly. But yeah, it's going to be, it is a, what do they call it? It's a triangle shawl, but it's like one side's longer than the other. most of your increases are done only on the one side. Like you have more increases on one side than the other. So the first side is brioche and the other is just garter stitch. And as it grows, it's really pretty. It's got a really great texture. I really wish I would have done a little bit more on this before this podcast, but I was working on my Lunae shawl. I don't know why I started this. I guess I got the bag and was like, oh, I need my Cinnabar. So I bought it immediately and started. Yeah, so not much progress to show you on that, but I'm sure I will continue to work on it. It goes so quick. She actually recommends using 2 different sizes of yarn. So I've got a sport weight and a fingering weight. In the way that it kind of makes these brioche stitches kind of really pop out, like they almost sit on top of these thicker back stitches versus, you know, on the back you kind of lose that raspberry color because it's so squishy. But I really like how it makes this look extra delicate, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So I like that quite a bit. And this is so cool how this is done. Yeah, so far, all 10 rows I've done. I recommend the pattern. Yeah, she said to put a stitch marker on the front so that you know which side's which, but I honestly don't know that I need that. He might just be my progress keeper because, you know, clearly the raspberry color, the contrast color knit side, brioche side, is the right side. But anyways, so yes, that's my Cinnabar shawl, as such as it is, Andrew Mallory. It's gonna be gorgeous and lovely. And this is also like a pretty good mindless knit. Once you're in it, I say I had to rip out because for some reason I read, you know, you knit all the way across whether you're doing the knit brioche or the regular knit, and then, you know, when you're purling your brioche, you also purl your garter. I guess it's not technically garter then, is it? Whatever it is, because you're double knitting the plain knit side, you end up still alternating knits and purls. Just buy the pattern, you'll see. I'm not good at explaining things. There it is. So I ended up doing two purls in a row or something, and it ended up with like this weird stockinette ridge. And it was a early enough one that I was like, just fix it. So I ripped it out. Long story short on that. So these are also on my Chowgoos, and I think these are 6s, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 6. And clearly it's a very short cord, so I'll have to break out one of my new ones because that ain't gonna work for long. I really hate when your stitches are all bunched up and you're trying to, I hate it. I would much rather have it stretched out, especially for a flat piece like a shawl. Those are all the WIPS. Yeah, those 5 WIPS. Why am I doing this to myself? I think I only really have like 3 active WIPS. I'm gonna say the sock is like a whatever kind of project. I'll be done when I'm done. It's not really sock time, you know what I mean? So I don't feel like I need it. And the half and half wrap is also it's done when it's done kind of project. More enjoyable, I think, to work on than socks, but also potentially could be looked at as a very boring project because it's just knits. So that's where we are with that. Let's talk about things that are new to me because I went wild. So we saw the Wool the Andes that I ordered that just came in. That's new. The Chroma was new to me since the last podcast. And then I bought from Wool Warehouse. It's a UK based company. And I bought all of this. Yay! It came and I was having a really, really crappy week. So I just sat on my couch and I just did this for a while. I just wanted a hug. So I just sat with my yarn and just, it's so squishy and nice, and it smells like barnyard animals, but in a good way. It's a lot of alpaca in here. So, what's in the bag? There's the alpaca. That's going to be the other part of my half and half wrap, which we've already seen. So I bought a ton of that. I got a ton of the yellow, a ton of this color, because it's a big wrap. And then I got drop silk. This is says it's soft and luxurious. It is soft and luxurious. I have never worked with mohair, believe it or not. So it is 75% mohair, 25% silk, 25 gram ball. And I do not have a specific, oh, it's so nice. I don't have a specific project in mind for this, but I really want this to be a sweater. I have a purchased, like a store purchased sweater that's this color that I have worn basically to pieces, and I want one of my own. I just love this color, especially in the fall and the winter. It just looks, it's very good. It's a cozy color. Makes you think of spring and like, don't worry, winter will end, you will make it out. So yes, I'm hoping to find some kind of wool at a decent price in the future, and I will pair this with that. I got 3 balls of this, 4 balls. They had a sale. I figured if I'm gonna buy it, I'll just one and done buy it all. So I did, I figure. The other one I got is Drops Flora. So this is a fingering weight alpaca wool blend. La la la, 65% wool, 35% alpaca. And this is going to be a birch pullover, also by Andrew Mowry. I bought that pattern ages ago and have been waiting for either a good sale or the right kind of yarn to jump out at me. This is very similar to the color that she has in her sample, and I'm excited about that. That's going to take a long time because it's a half fisherman's rib in the round, which means a lot of purling, and it's fingering weight. So this is not an anytime soon kind of project. This is going to be a Mary Lynn's Feeling Ambitious kind of project, but I'm glad I have the yarn for it because I really, that one I think is going to be a product knit rather than a process knit, because I think I'm going to hate making it, but I really want that sweater. I think it is so gorgeous. So that's what that's for. These were all bought intentionally. I did not just go totally crazy. Also, I'm like, oh, I like this bag because it keeps the dog hair out. There's a lot of dog hair in this house. There's that. And then the rest of it is all just alpaca, but it's for different, another project. So I also want to make from Andrea Mowry. It's just the Andrea Mowry podcast, evidently. I bought a Brioche-licious pattern, which is a very large crescent-shaped shawl. And it's got rows of garter stitch and then rows of brioche in contrasting colors, kind of stacked all the way down this massive shawl. So this is going to be my main color for the garter sections. And then I'm going to mix that with more mustard yellow, a little teeny bit of this crazy blue, and an even smaller amount of this red, which is, I really like that color. It's got a lot going on in there. It's kind of got some blues in it. Oh, focus, you can do it. Oh, you can do it. Well, in any case, I think that's gonna, it almost has some yellows and some blues, so I think that'll complement the other two pretty nicely. The blue is a little bit heathered, but not nearly as much. And you've seen the yellow. So, like, just looking at this, I would never, ever put these colors together, but they're kind of similar to the colors that Andrea Mowry picked for her sample. I think she used, like, linen quill, maybe? Don't quote me on that. She definitely didn't use drops, but again, this is very affordable for the massive amount of yarn needed for that huge shawl. So I'm very happy with it. So that's all of the different types that I got. I just, that's the quantity that I had to purchase for all these projects. But yeah, so that's what, 3-4 projects that I'm getting out of this for $100. That's really cheap. I really like this yarn so far. I will obviously let you know how the Flora does and the Kids Silk once I start using it, but yeah, I definitely foresee myself purchasing more in the future because I really enjoy it. And the only other thing I got was, oh, lies, 2 more things. Yesterday, went to my local yarn store and they are not carrying Rowan anymore apparently, so all of their Rowan yarns were 50% off. So I bought a sweaters quantity because why not? I paid, let's see, $6 a ball for these. It's felted tweed. It is merino, 50% merino wool, 25% alpaca, and 25% viscose. And it's really pretty. Really wish my camera would focus. Not much to say about that. Don't necessarily have a project in mind for it. It's just when there's a bin of 50% off yarn and there's enough for a sweater, I buy it. Because why not? And I'm supporting local. Look at me go. She said that the Rowan didn't sell very well, which kind of surprised me, but that's why she was getting rid of it. And that some of the other yarn stores in our area have had success with Rowan, and she's just like, I don't know what it is that people around that particular area. I like it. I think it's very pretty. And she had all the different kinds. She had some lace weight that was on sale. A bunch of different Rowan. And I have Rowan that I've gotten on sale from other stores. So this might be a color work kind of thing. It's got a lot of blues in it. I'm not really a blue person, so I don't know if that would be my contrast, or I have some gold I picked up a couple months ago. Anyways, I'll do something with it. You'll be seeing it again. Ugh. For heaven's sake. I think I already put it away. Shoot. I shouldn't be so organized. If you knew me, I'm not organized at all. So to get my free shipping, I thought I would try Lindy chain. So why not? So this is a fingering weight, 50 gram ball, 180 yards, 70% linen, and 30% Pima cotton. I've heard about it before. I don't use chained yarns very often. Don't look at me, look at that. In fact, I say it very often. I don't know that I've ever used chained yarns before, to be honest. And this is a lot brighter than I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be more like this color. It's more muted, but she bright. But I got 3 balls of this, and I think I'm gonna try to sort of kind of draft my own tank top pattern. Mainly because I am not a designer. For some reason, my brain just can't, it just can't work that way, and I don't know why that is. So this is gonna be me like trying to force my brain to work the way I want it to. And most tank top patterns are made very similar. You make this triangle, the back triangles, join it all together, and you knit it down and around. It can't be that hard. This is what I tell myself. It can't. It just can't be that hard, you know? I've made a couple tank tops at this point. I'm just going to do, there that is falling out of its little ball. I'm just going to do stockinette, simple. I just want a simple, flowy, not this thing, tank top. That's all I want. So I think I'm going to do the straps similar to this one. So I'll have, you know, bra coverage. Yeah. And I'm just going to knit it down until I run out of yarn. And that's going to be my tank top. And I think it's going to be great. So that's another, I guess once I finish the Tanja, I will attempt this. I really don't need another whip. Telling myself this on camera, holding me to it. But I also want it done in time to wear it in the summer. Tanja first, Lindy chain second. But yeah, this was just a why not? It was on sale. It's different. I don't think I've really worked with linen, not this much linen content before. So that'll be interesting. I hear a lot of different thoughts and feelings about that. Some people say it's hard on their hands. Some people say it's not stretchy, which it's just not at all. But I just made, you know, that pure silk knitting for olive. Silk has no stretch at all, and I thought I could break the silk core yarn while I was knitting it. That was dumb. Don't do that. I imagine this is the same way. So I think it'd be fine. And I have a feeling this is going to block out really nice just based on the way it feels. So future projects. Making plans, sticking with those plans, not just adding to the stash. Because I don't need to do that. I don't think any of us need to do that. All right. Well, guys, I think that's it. This is a much longer episode than I thought it would be. So thanks for hanging out with me if you made it this far. My room's a mess right now. It's 4th of July weekend here in the States. Today is Sunday. My husband is working, so I'm just gonna chill out at home and catch up on the knitting I didn't get to do yesterday at that drag race thing. And I don't know what we're doing tomorrow on the actual 4th. We get a long holiday weekend, so that's nice. But not a whole lot that I feel like celebrating here in the States at the moment. That's all I'm gonna say about that. But I've got my thoughts and feelings on it, so we'll see. If nothing else, we'll just spend time with family. That'll be kind of nice too. Just quiet. And I do like fireworks, so I guess there's that. But anyways, thanks for stopping by, guys. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.